Hey, it's Elisha from mobilitymastery.com, and today's video could shift your paradigm on its axis and give you access to a whole new way of thinking about pain and freedom. So I want to introduce you to a change in my paradigm today that feels really life-changing. Now, I've been orienting the way that I'm going to invite you to consider orienting today. I've been kind of in that paradigm for a while now, but kind of unconsciously and not really standing in it and not talking a whole lot about it in really concise language here on YouTube. But the time has come for me to actually come out and talk about this because I finally feel like I have the language for it. For whatever reason, this year has woken me up to these things. So what I'm talking about is the difference between seeking freedom from things we don't like or don't want or that are uncomfortable. So obviously pain comes to mind, versus orienting to life by focusing on the freedom to. So I'm going to I'll break this down a little bit, talk about the differences here, and invite you to consider, especially if you're experiencing pain, I would invite you today to consider, just to try on thinking about your journey through this pain of one of the freedom to, instead of freedom from whatever pain you're experiencing. So this actually feels quite obvious if we really just sit here and think about it together. Most of us experience all kinds of sensations and emotions and injuries that we would really rather not be experiencing, right? It's not exactly pleasant to have knee pain or back pain or torn rotator cuff or whatever the case may be. It's not pleasant or, considered a positive experience by most people to feel anxiety or gut issues or unprocessed trauma. So most of us who go on a healing journey start that journey and maybe never get off that particular path. We start and maybe never get off the path of seeking freedom from those things. Freedom from pain, from injury, freedom from anxiety, freedom from trauma, freedom from X, Y, Z. So what I want you to actually do right now while you're watching this video is think about what might be going on in your life right now. It could be anything. It could be political angst, because that's kind of in the air. It could be an experience in your body, an injury or a pain. It could be an emotional experience. It could be something more like digestive issues or a cancer diagnosis, or I don't know. It's a huge list of things, right? But yours is unique to you. So I want you to really think about that thing that you're seeking relief from or freedom from, and just kind of try on orienting to that consciously, maybe for the first time, in a way where you acknowledge that seeking relief from or freedom from this thing is kind of a negative orientation. And I don't mean that in the sense that, I don't call any emotions negative. What I mean is it's literally seeking the negative of something. We're kind of anti-anxiety or anti-pain or anti-trauma, or we're seeking freedom from it as if the thing we don't like feeling is oppressing us, as if we are the oppressed, seeking freedom from this oppressor called pain, called trauma, called anxiety, digestive issues, cancer, whatever it may be. That feels super clear to me when I really try it on, because I know that in my life, for pretty much almost all of my 20s, for a good decade, from my teens till I was 28, I was seeking freedom from all kinds of pain. freedom from knee pain, freedom from trauma, freedom from anxiety and digestive issues, freedom from this feeling of being haunted all the time, freedom from social anxiety, freedom from feeling trapped in a body I didn't know, how to help. And all of those efforts of seeking freedom from failed. I learned a lot, and maybe I moved the needle a little bit, but it kind of was like for every 5 steps forward, I would actually end up taking 6 or 7 backwards, but I would learn from those 5 steps forward. And what I mean by this is all of my seeking relief from or freedom from didn't manifest in the result I wanted, which was the absence of the thing I didn't like feeling. If you're watching this video as soon as it gets put out here in October 2020, next week I'm gonna be coming out with another video that will sound similar to this, but in this video, I really wanted to break down the difference between freedom from and the freedom to. But when we pursue freedom from things, we actually oppose ourselves to that thing and actually give it more power while diminishing our own power. And we're seeking lack. We're seeking a negative. We want to erase or eliminate or, escape from the thing we don't like. We're not pursuing something we want. We're not, you can't say, well, I don't want to feel this and that's what I'm pursuing. I want to not feel it. There's a negative in there. It's called not. So on the flip side, now what I'd like to invite you to consider is whatever that thing is that you thought of a little while ago when I was describing freedom from, I want you to imagine for a moment if you forbid yourself for say 3 minutes or 5 minutes from thinking about the freedom from that thing, and instead began thinking about, in orientation to the thing that you maybe want freedom from, while orienting to it, while having it in your awareness, while inviting it into your experience. Think about the freedom to. Where would that thing lead you? Where would that experience of pain or anxiety or trauma or digestive issues lead you if you began thinking about the freedom to? And here's what I mean. The freedom to run, the freedom to hike, the freedom to feel at home in this body, the freedom to eat foods that nourish you and feel good in your body. The freedom to, be social and enjoy being social. The freedom to talk to other people. The freedom to pursue your passions. The freedom to, you fill in the blank. The freedom to. When you orient to whatever it is that has your attention that feels uncomfortable, it's intense, it's, maybe we label it painful. When you orient to those things with a freedom to attitude, you find solutions. You become solution-oriented. You find answers instead of problems. You find superpowers in yourself. You find the resources you actually need to do the thing you want to do. So for whatever reason, this wasn't in my vocabulary until this year. However, this is what I did for myself when I healed my knees. I stopped pursuing freedom from the knee pain and I began pursuing the freedom to run. And that made all the difference, because when you pursue the freedom to, and you give your brain that directive, you give your conscious mind the directive to seek the freedom to, you're going to celebrate wins. You're going to orient to that thing as a problem to solve, and brains love solving problems. You're going to switch on your creativity. You're going to switch on your ability to see possibility instead of impossibility. You're going to turn on the part of you that can actually see how to get there. Rather than if you're seeking freedom from, when we're in that attitude, we tend to focus on the thing we don't want. I want answers for my knee pain. I want answers for my digestive issues. Oh, like I tried this supplement and this thing and the pain is still here and I still feel anxiety. When I go out, I don't like talking to people because I feel this thing and I wish I didn't feel this way, because if I didn't feel this way, then I would be able to actually like date people and not seem like a crazy person. Like this over here, this freedom from, it's a spiral. It goes nowhere. It goes nowhere but exactly where we are, which is where we don't want to be. So this is definitely just a philosophical video here, hopefully tilting you on your axis just enough to see whatever has your attention in your life or your body that you maybe are labeling painful or uncomfortable. Hopefully you're seeing that in a new way. Maybe you're already here. If so, awesome. If you're one of the people that understands and you're like, yes, I get this. I have a story of the freedom to, pursuing the freedom to, and I know exactly what you're talking about, Elisha. If you're one of those people, please do me a favor and share your story below, because I believe the world needs more of these stories, because most of the time what we hear about is, the 7 foods you need to be eating to avoid cancer. It's an anti-thing. We're not pursuing the freedom to when we talk like that. Podcasts these days are just filled with conversations about this is the way to be to avoid, illness or autoimmune disease, or this is the anti-inflammatory diet, right? We're anti-inflammation, so we're eating this way, but actually that's pursuing lack instead of whatever is over here. So please share your stories below. I'm going to be talking about this more and more. I welcome any specific questions you guys might have. If you watching right now have a specific question for me on, I kind of get this, Elisha, but I'm not really sure. Like, I'm experiencing this right now. How do I orient to it from a place of the freedom to? Please post those questions below, because that is going to give me the impetus and inspiration I need to film specific videos for you. Because I've kind of been living this, even though talking about it is maybe a little bit new, but maybe you haven't been living it. And so your question could help me know how to help you with the pursuit of the freedom too. So share your thoughts below. Thank you so much for watching this, and I will see you next time.